Christa, you are the CEO of Officenter, and the purpose of the conversation today was to discuss about your expansion. You moved from 11 locations to 6. From
9 to 16. Yes.
9 to 16. My apology. So we are getting out of the crisis, and it didn't shy you from expanding and keep growing the network you already have. And something very interesting also with Officenter is that you are totally regionally based. You are not like some big players in the co-working industry and flex workspace industry in the city centers of big municipalities or big capitals. You really demonstrate the validity of the regional model for flex workspace. But first of all, let's can you introduce yourself and tell us a word about Officenter?
Yes, okay. So good morning, everybody. I'm Christa Joucke, and 10 years ago we bought an old building in Hasselt with 7 friends, and we created Officenter. So what we offer are fixed offices, flex offices, co-working, meeting space. It was a very big building, 4,750 square meters, and it was full in 18 months. And it's a very nice business. Probably you all know it. We have a lot of different customers. We have big customers. We have lawyers, accountants. Everybody can be a customer in Officenter. Then after that one building, we got very excited, and then we said, okay, let's copy paste this concept and start another one. We bought another building in Turnhout in 2011. In 2012, we bought a building in Antwerp, 2013 in Maastricht, and so on and so on. And it always, we have a very strict model, Officenter. For example, our pricing is everywhere the same. We have exactly the same service, exactly the same product. So it's really a copy-paste. How do we do that? We don't have that much money. So each time when we bought a new building, we were looking for local investors in the building. And we succeeded in that. And so now we have already, in December, we opened Zaventem. It was our 9th location, and now we bought one company with 7 buildings, and I'm renovating them right now. They have to be ready at the end of the week, so it's a very busy period, and then we will have 16 buildings. But I think it's a very nice business model, because we are really in every city. We really have a very strong network. We have like 5 to 10 investors in every building. So in total, we have more than 200 investors already. Because, like, for example, in Aalst, we opened in 2019, we found there were 20 investors. So it's getting easier all the time, because we have a proven model that works. So it gets easier and easier to find investors in the real estate.
Yeah, let's tell a word about the profile of the investors you have. So those locations, so for those who are not familiar with the geography of Belgium, so Hasselt, Turnhout, Aalst, there are rather T3 cities or towns in Flanders. So there are small cities. You are more in the suburb of those towns most of the time. And yes.
But that's important, because I said we have everywhere the same services. So we have free parking space everywhere. We have a location that is very visible on the entrance of the city, and it's not possible to have in the city center of Brussels, for example, free parking space. So that's not possible. That's why we are situated in Vilvoorde and in Zaventem.
Which is the outskirt. Yeah, it's the outskirt of Brussels, and Zaventem is where the airport is.
Yes, and it's important as well for the pricing, because it's impossible to buy a building for example, Louisalaan in Brussels for the same price than a building in Turnhout or Hasselt. And I want to keep the pricing the same in all the locations. That makes it very easy for me, for my staff, but also for the customers.
Yeah.
They pay the same and they get exactly the same in every location.
So about the profile of the investor locally. So each location is a different set of investors. So in some towns, I've noticed that, for instance, you have the former mayor of the town. You have sometimes accounting firms. You have law firms, and as you said, you found them because they were the tenants of the building.
Not always.
Right?
That's our dream. And now we are doing that. When we buy a building, sometimes there are no tenants. It's an empty building, so they cannot become investor.
Yeah.
But when the building is full, then the clients, the tenants, they get the opportunity to invest. So when it's an existing building, we have that opportunity as well.
Okay, so that's interesting because they become also owner of course of the
Yes.
real estate assets. That is the value. So it's not only the business itself, but it's all the network.
And they will stay for sure as a tenant as well, because they are for part co-owner of the building, so they are staying tenants as well.
That's it.
So it's not because they are becoming co-owner that they get rent-free the offices. They stay tenants just the same way as before.
Okay, and so you have so Officenter now you have 70 people on the payroll. So that's not big, but it's for coworking operators. It's not small.
But it's not big, but we do everything ourselves. I have my own cleaning, my own IT people, my own handyman. So we do everything ourselves.
That's it.
And that's why I have 70 people.
And so the thing is that you now open 7 locations. So how have you been through the crisis? Because coworking industry has been dramatically hit by the crisis. It was one of the most hit industry maybe in the whole economies. And how have you been through that? What was the situation after the crisis? We are still a little bit with some tools in it, and still having those plans of expansion. And what makes you confident about the future for that?
For example, first of all, our customers, they stayed. When the crisis happened, we immediately gave them the choice, or they could get a reduction of 20%, or they could ask for a delay of the payment. 80% of our customers, they choose the 20% reduction. And that's a very good thing, because that was an indication that they wanted to stay. Then in Officenter, we offer flexibility. So not even in Corona time, but always they can change the amount of workstations. They can change the formula, so they can go from 10 to 6 workstations, or they can go from 3 offices to 2 offices, or they can go from a fixed office to a flexible solution at every time. And in Corona time, that was a blessing for our customers. But they all stayed. I have more than 900 customers, and I think I have 4 companies that didn't make it. All the other customers stayed. So that was a very good thing. We invested a lot in making our buildings Corona safe. We had the temperatures, the cameras at the entrance. We did everything right. And it was very much appreciated from our customers that we did everything so their staff could come safe to work. Then, second of all, in May 2020, and it was really the middle of the Corona period, we bought a building in Zaventem that wouldn't be possible when it wasn't Corona, because that was an owner who also owned 5 buildings, and he bought them in January, and then Corona came, so he really needed to sell 1 building. And that's why we could buy it. Because otherwise it would be much more expensive. So that was a very good thing. So we bought it in May, and it opened in December on a really top location in Zaventem. So very good. I already have an occupation rate of 70%. I opened in December. I already have 70%. So that proves that it's a very good location. And so that's already 2 good points from Corona. But the third point is that a lot of big companies, they are questioning the way they are handling the facility and the location, and they are thinking, and they are coming to me and they say, we want to change, we need flexibility. In our building there are 2 floors empty, so we want to have a solution. So also big companies, they come to business centers. So our market was already growing, but it will grow very fast now. And another good thing is that we bought now the 7 buildings here in Limburg. So now I have 8 locations in Limburg. Everybody heard about the working close to home movement. So now here you don't have to go to Antwerp or to Brussels. You have a professional working place close to home. So that's also a positive thing. So I was confident before Corona, but I'm even more confident now. It is a terrible thing, the COVID crisis, but for us, and then maybe the most important thing is that we own our buildings. So our banks, we didn't have to pay them. Our customers, they paid me, but we didn't have to pay our banks for 6 months. So 2020 wasn't bad for our cash flow, I have to say.
Okay.
That makes a very big difference.
Yes, and of course, being the owner of the building was made I assume a big difference. Of course, for that, as you mentioned. So, do you see also already conversion? So, because this idea of satellite officing and the fact that companies now are looking for alternative to the HQ and to offer between the home and between the head office solutions that are applicable. Do you see conversion of that already? Because this is something we have heard about for quite a while. And so far it remains something more on paper than something really executed and implemented. So how far do you see that from your experience now and the discussion you have? Is it still an ongoing process, or no, you see it now happening and decisions being made?
It's happening now. Now the decisions are being made. In 2020, they were asking for information on how to organize everything, but now really decisions are being made. I have big firms that are coming in September, even in November already. So the decisions are being made now, and we have also the big advantages. So their employees, they will come to work 2 days a week, and they will work at home 3 days a week. But when they come to an office center, it has to be a nice location. It's not enough to have a boring office with 2 chairs in it. And we are nice locations. We have our own bistro lounges. We have our meeting places. We have our little sports things. And so we are a nice location, but we always were a nice location. So we didn't have to reinvent ourselves, and now for Corona. So we are a nice workplace to come to, and the network is also important. So when they are the big firms, they have, for example, in Ghent, in Brussels, and in Luik, they have a fixed office, but then they can host a meeting in Hasselt or in Aalst, because we have now the network of the 16 locations, so they can also adapt to where their employees are living, and they can choose the meeting place. And one day it will be in Antwerp, and the other day it will be in Turnhout, so they can use all our locations. So we really have an all-inclusive price setting. So when you have one office or one co-working in one location, you can use all the locations. It's in the price.
It's seamless. It's seamless.
Yes,
you can go.
That's very nice. So they don't have to take an extra contract or things like that. When you're an office center client, even if it's a simple co-working, you can use all the locations. So, and the bigger we get, it's better for our customers as well.
Yes, the network effect. There is how does it happen when you have a company, I don't know, with 50 people, 100 people, with this model of 2 days home and 2 days maybe in a office nearby? So do you propose a private office with maybe half of the chairs which are needed, or capacity which is needed for the team, or is it free access to the open space area without desking? So how do you figure it out? Is it
that's the best formula, to have a fixed office with fewer fixed working stations. But in every building, there is so many space, co-working space, meeting rooms, flex offices, so they can use them. That's in the price included. So they never have too less space. Huh?
There is this buffer.
Here in Hasselt, I have 12 meeting rooms. I have 8 flex offices. I have more than 20 co-working seats. So there's enough space. So for example, when they have an office of 10 workstations, but they have 20 people working for them, and one day there will be 20, then they can go sit in a meeting room or in the co-working. So there's always enough space. We try to never say no to our customers.
There is this buffer.
Offer a solution.
So those common areas works as buffers for when there is an over demand because one day you have everybody there, as opposed to other days where the private offices is barely used, even by a few people. So that's
our buildings, but they are quite large. Almost 50% of the building is communal space.
Yeah.
So we have a very big buffer.
Yeah. So one thing specific, which is more related to how you see the management of the company, etc. You said that you have 900 customers now, users.
Companies,
companies.
Not users, companies. We have more users.
Of course. How many users you have?
I think 1,500 it will be.
Okay. So and you knew them personally all, because you have this that's one thing, something you cherish, that the fact that the company remains small enough so that you can still have this direct contact, and that's why also you are not looking for over expansion and breakneck growth, things like that. That's not what you are looking for now. Why so?
So we started a small company, but I'm still a small company, I say, because I don't have, for example, sales people working for me.
Okay.
I meet every new customer. Our pricing is on the website, so I don't do any, I'm not going to look for customers. I don't have the time for that. Our website, all the pricing is on it. When they're really looking for an office in one of our locations, they have an appointment with me. So I see every customer, and I hope I can do that as long as possible, because that's very important to know your customers. I know when they are having trouble. I know when they are sitting too small or too big. So we have a retention of 87%. So my customers, the leases are short, but they stay for a very long time. So we have a retention of 87%, which is very high in a business center. So once they come here, they never leave.
How do you explain that you don't need a sales team specifically? Is it because there is a shortage of offering, as simple as that, in those regional areas?
No, we have a different connection with our customers. When you know your customers, it's a different thing. We have one focus in Officenter, and that's we are very customer centered. We do everything for our customers, and happy customers, they stay. And that's a lot cheaper than to look always for new customers. So we do everything for the existing customer. Like we said, we never say no to our customer. Our customer is always right. We do everything for our customer. We have an iron service, we do a barbecue, we do an Halloween brunch. So that's the things. My whole marketing budget is to make my existing customers happy. And I think that's a lot easier and cheaper than always have to find new customers. My contracts, they are renewed automatically on the same conditions. I never raise my prices. The customers say, you have the normal index, the health index, but these prices stay the same. So once a building of ours is for 95% full, then I can open another building. So that's the way we work. and all the existing customers, they are very happy and they stay.
So
That's why I can work without a salesperson.
Yeah, because you have your 86 people retention rate, 86% retention rate. That allows you just to work with the leads that are coming by themselves.
Yeah.
To fill
and
the
serious
remaining
leads. And the serious leads. When I get a lead from a broker, I ask how many persons. Usually they mention it, and then they get an offer. And in the offer is when you want to visit, make an appointment with me. It works, and I hope to do it as long as possible. So it's getting busy, but it's still possible. So.
Brilliant. So we are arriving at the end. So what can we wish Officenter for next? What would you please? What would please you in the coming 2-3 years? Is it to expand to 30 locations? Is it to go abroad? Is it what would be you wish?
Not go abroad. I said I'm doing this until I have 20 locations. So that's 4 more to go. The most difficult thing is 2 things: is finding the buildings at the price that we want to pay, because I want to keep the pricing the same in all the locations. So it's very important to find the right buildings. But due to Corona, it will be easier to find the buildings because there are a lot of empty office buildings, and they will not be filled in the traditional way. So it will be easier to find buildings. And another big, not a problem, but a challenge is to find the right people for Officenter, the right staff. Because like I said, we never say no to our customers. We are very service-minded, and to find the right staff, that's also a challenge.
Why so? What is difficult to find in those profile that you?
Because we ask, the standard is very high. We have a customer survey each year, and my ladies at the front desk, who are called happy client assistants, that's the title from the front desk ladies. For example, they have to have 90% on the customer service, or I say goodbye. So the bar is very high. I only can use the best people. So
and they are difficult to train or to find.
They are difficult to find. You really have to have the officer spirit to do everything for your client and to never say no to your client, and then they stay. So that's very important.
Awesome. Okay, Christa, thank you so much for your time and for sharing that with us. I think it's very instructive, and it demonstrates definitely that the model of Coworking is expanding beyond the city centers and big city centers, where it was a little bit stuck the last year, and now we see the expansion, and that it can live and thrive at the end of the day. So that's very promising.
Okay, and everybody is welcome to visit an Officenter to see that what I'm saying here is true, that they will be very, very friendly when you enter, and you're always welcome in Officenter, even if you're not a client. So everybody is welcome in Officenter.
Message taken. Thank you so much. Happy holiday if you take some. And
not yet, but it will come in September when everything is up and running. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye.